Alright. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic, Less Known Classic. This is episode number 2877, Doubleshot number 2771. So for this one, we're discussing, well, two very popular books. First of which is we're discussing Sensational She-Hulk, but here's something interesting with this one. Now, between She-Hulk, the She-Hulk Epic Collection Book 4 and Book 6, there's like 20 issues of Sensational She-Hulk not in that Epic Collection just yet. So, what I decided to do was interesting. Do 10 issues plus 2 Marvel graphic novels. So, yeah, this is the return of John Byrne's title. Yes, his run was like just about almost 20 issues. There's a funny thing here with this is a very famous cover for issue 31 where John Byrne is about to do something like, it's implied they might do like a relaunch, but nope. She-Hulk breaks the fourth wall with this one. Yeah, and yeah, John Byrne's back in this title. Don't know why he originally left the book. He left with issue 8 and came back 22 issues later. So he was gone in the book roughly almost 2 years. And he's back in the book for like another 2 years, and then he just leaves. He skips one issue. He skips issue 47, and he leaves with issue 50. I do not know what the reason was. If I get a chance to meet John Byrne, I will ask him the question, hey, why did you leave issue 8 and then come back to issue 31 and leave again? I don't know. It's weird. So, there's a common joke about the fourth. She-Hulk breaks the fourth wall, has her flying car, doing some flying out with some older lady. Also in these issues is return of her supporting cast from her Savage She-Hulk book. Some of them anyways, not all of them. Also, yeah, Louise Mason, who was the original Phantom Blonde, yeah, she's still a supporting character in this book. And during these issues, she actually meets up with, yes, if I can find a thing here. Yeah, basically, like, basically you still have her in the book. Yeah, and by issue 36, she meets up with She-Hulk's dad, and they fall in love. Because, of course, he's in love with Phantom, because he was in love with her. And then the very next issue, Louise just basically decided to stay with, basically, She-Hulk's dad. Yeah, I do like the whole stuff with her with these issues, but she doesn't do a lot per se, aside from falling in love with She-Hulk's dad. Mostly because they're both from the same age. And by the way, she's in the book up until before the book even ends. Afterwards, she doesn't do a lot after this book wraps up. Not really. So, does She-Hulk take any bad guys in these 10 issues? Well, in 31, she takes on, well, Spring the Living Hill. Yep. Yeah, they bring in this creature. Yeah, after he had returned, his last appearance was back in his debut in During the Mystery 68, the same book that Thor made his debut in. This was, from what I can tell, his debut in issue 84, I think it was. So, roughly about 13 issues prior to his debut. He's here for pretty much for like 3 straight issues. And he's back for 2 more, and that's kind of, he's not here very much. So we also deal with the Mole Man in here in these issues, where he's them to seduce. And this is really controversial cover with issue number 34. It's a nod to a Demi Moore. Believe it or not, the cover. Yeah, I remember seeing his photo here. Okay, so 30. I think it's 34, isn't it? It's 34. Those of you who ever seen the Vanity Fair cover for that features Demi Moore, this cover is a homage to that. Yes. Oh, and don't worry, She-Hulk is actually wearing clothes, unlike Demi Moore, which it was implied she was butt naked in that picture. But yeah, for some reason, the artist have the idea to homage this very cover. And She-Hulk responds is, "It's not fair. They keep me vanity and this drive a controversy." Yeah, and the ball, it just a clear nod to that. Yep. And, oh boy, so, in this issue, she takes on 4 dead X-Men villains for 2 issues. Yes, Black Talon resurrects. These fine people, and She-Hulk has no idea who these people even are. He resurrects Harry Leland, who died of a freaking heart attack, believe it or not, in the story involving Nimrod. I think he died just a decade prior. Jack the Living Diamond, who was, chronologically according to Roy Thomas, the first bad guy the X-Men fought, the first bad guy, and only bad guy in X-Men's history. He actually was only a Cyclops. This was his brief return here. Yeah, Black Talon. Was this the original Black Talon? I believe it was the original Black Talon. Yes. So, they also brought in Scareface. Who was Scareface? Well, she only appeared for 1 issue initially, but she came back. She got killed during events of Mutant Massacre. She just basically was just a one-shot character. And then we have Changeling. You're thinking, wait a minute, Changeling. What the heck is Garfield Logan doing in Marvel? Okay, so this is not Garfield Logan. It's not Beast Boy. It is a guy who was an actual shapeshifter, whose name was Changeling, who was a recurring villain where Roy Thomas wrote again the X-Men. Basically, some of the characters were Thomas, a couple of these characters were Thomas characters. This one too. So the story of this guy is he worked for this evil organization called Factor 3, and after they were defeated, he decided to change his ways because it was discovered that he had cancer. Yes, Changeling had cancer, so Xavier had him pose as him as a cover that led into an alien invasion. Oh, by the way, he was presumably killed. He was actually the Xavier. He posed as Xavier when he was supposedly killed by this creature known as Grotesque. And this is Return. She-Hulk fights these zombies, and then she defeats them by shoving salt in their mouths and sewing their mouths shut so they can never resurrect again. Though Harry Lee was brought back from Neurosha. And then he came back fully during the events of Krakoa, where it was revealed that Sebastian Shaw's son was not really his son. Harry Leland's his father, because they both slept with the same woman. So it's almost like Leland, it's like the whole thing with him, it's like, oh, and here's your son. You're like, what? Yeah, Sebi Shaw. All because Harry Leland dated the same woman. Yes. It was really weird with this guy. And it was actually, well, it was the first time, well, unofficially the first time now, Scareface never has come back. That's not like she's a mutant. What about the Living Diamond? Did he ever come back after his death? Not really, no. Though he was kind of brought back during the events of X-Men Legends Volume 2. Yeah, for some reason, Jack of Diamonds was brought back. I'm not sure exactly why that Roy Thomas brought him back for that issue. Yeah, the whole thing with him was he appeared mostly in a backup feature for X-Men. And then after his death and the backup feature X-Men issue 42, he came back for these 2 issues and mostly put his appearances after that were in flashbacks. Like Uncanny Origins #1 would focus on Cyclops, which is mostly put just a retelling of his backstory. Then he appeared in Children of the Atom, number 2 and 3, the original Atom miniseries, not the new one. Yeah, he appeared as flashback, and he appeared in X-Men Legends, the first 2 issues, and he got killed once again. Changing himself, as far as I can tell, is still deceased. Yeah, he was not around very long. His name was Kevin Steedley, which apparently they revealed that in a handbook for Extra Swords. He was not around very long. He debuted in X-Men 35 as part of the whole Factor 3 storyline. That's where he made his debut. And, well, he was exactly, I think he was the leader of Factor 3. No, it was Mutant Master. But he was agent of them. And then, like, right after this storyline, then he just dies, masquerading as Xavier. And here's the thing. Unlike Leland, who was brought back, in a way, he's a prototype for Morph. That's kind of the way the whole thing with him. Now, has he ever been resurrected? No. No, he has not. It's kind of odd he was never brought back, but he never was. Yeah, I don't really get why they bring back Leland, but they don't bring back him. He's not a terrible character, per se. It's just that he was a character who Marvel Comics is nothing with, but he's still dead. I do like the storyline. I thought it was a lot of fun. The whole ex-human thing. Which went to zombies. Yeah, and after these 2 issues, like, they pretty much wrapped up. By the way, these issues, according to the legacy numbering for She-Hulk, these are issues 56 to, I think it's like 64. Yes. Oh, and we also have the debut of the Living Eraser, the second one. And he appears for 2 issues. Yeah, Living Eraser is actually an old Iron Man villain. Indeed he did. No, he isn't. He just doesn't appear much anymore. He appeared only 3 times. Like, he appeared in Tales of Astonishing 49, Marvel 2-1, number 15, and then the last appearance was Ant-Man the Wasp, Living Legends, number 1. Which is his real name, and that was it for him. I guess John Byrne felt this, okay, we need to create a new eraser. I want to use Living Eraser. My guess is maybe he was told no, so create a new one. And he's not around here for a couple issues. It's like, okay, we deal with him, and we have to deal with another one. 36 is the return of, well, her supporting cast from her Savage Steel title. Wyatt book, basically, well, he would continue to be in this book, but in the case of She-Hulk's father, he last appeared in Marvel Fanfare 48, prior to appearing in this book. Richard Rory. Yeah. Yeah, basically, he was brought into the title. He only appeared once. This was his first appearance since Sensational She-Hulk 25. After this, he only appeared 2 more times after this. And that was it. He never returned after those 2 issues of She-Hulk Volume 2. Now, Morris Walters, She-Hulk's father, well, kind of in a way, he was brought in as a supporting character in Series 36, and he's here for the remainder of the title. He only appears not much further after that. But it was great to see these people. And of course, we have Christina Ridge. Yeah, and Zapper, he returned to the book too. Except that he is not in the book very long. I mean, he only appeared once when John Byrne wrote the book, and then he was brought back for the remainder of the title. Oh man, this book is basically Cupid. It's like, you can basically describe 36 as like Return of basically a supporting cast. And then we have an appearance by, on the cover, it's just the Punisher and Spider-Man, even though they're not really in the book. Oh yeah, there's also a gag about blank panels in this issue. 36. It's her versus Nuclear Man. Yes, a character from Fantastic Four. Who's only here for a few issues and he's gone. Yeah, because this whole thing he wants to do She-Hulk. Yeah, and then he doesn't appear again. Of course, he also features the Thing. And then we have issue number 40, which we also used the Hill Spring, and that's kind of it. Still good issues. I kind of enjoyed them. But before I close here for Sensational She-Hulk, let's talk about our graphic novel number 18. Well, actually, let's talk about number 17 first. Yeah, I probably should have done 16, but I'm doing 17 because She-Hulk is in the book. Mostly put for this particular one, it's from Damage Lee and Jim Howes, aka Christopher Priest. This is mostly put the living monolith who becomes the living planet. Yeah, it's basically having the Avengers of Fantastic Four team up taking this guy in this really good epic story. Amazing story. 10 out of 10. But and the Marvel graphic novel number 18 is weird. It's written by John Byrne. And by the way, in the main book itself, she's a Wyatt Wagfoot. So, in this issue, She-Hulk and Wyatt Wagfoot doing her own thing, and then they request about the shield. Where as soon as she gets there, Agent Dooley tells her to strip, so he can do a strip search. And someone points out, though, this is against regulation. He's like, I don't give a damn. Why? It's like, because the guy is a pervert. Yes, he really wants to see She-Hulk butt naked. And then we have Dum Dum Dude come in and say, Dooley, what the heck are you doing, dude? She-Hulk, put your clothes on, come to my office. And they chat for a bit, and then after a while, Dooley tells Dugan, hey, Dugan, you've been recalled to DC. Bye-bye. She-Hulk, call me so I can see you naked again. Yep, and then he gets possessed by cockroaches, believe it or not. Yes, it's this weird thing where this cockroach person kisses him, and his skin turns purple. It's a bizarre issue where he gets sort of shoved out the helicarrier, and then he dies. And what was the point of this book? Yeah, it's basically the best way to describe this Marvel graphic novel is She-Hulk dealing with a pervert. Because the man was obsessed with seeing her butt naked. That is the best way to describe this book. Oh my freaking god. It is so weird. I read this book. I'm like, what in the world? Seriously, Byrne. Why the heck did you create this guy? And here's the weird thing about this guy, Dooley. Did you know this guy also appeared in Marvel TV? Yeah, he was Peggy Carter's boss in the precursors of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yep. Except on the show, he was not a pervert. Oh, good God, no. Oh yeah, sending mandroids to get her, Yeah, and by the way, the role where he has to do it, in front of people telling her to strip, so he can do a strip search. Yeah, here's the thing. Even in real life, this is actually against all forms of law. Basically, Dooley should have been arrested when he did. Seeing a woman, but, basically the strip search thing, that should have been done by a female agent. But he wanted to do it himself because he's the boss. Just everybody telling him it's a bad idea, he does anyways. Yeah, and Roger Lee did appear in the MCU on Agent Carter just for her first season. Yeah, and his death in the show was a bit bizarre, where he's like has a suicide bomb strapped to his chest is strapped on him by the villain of the episode, and he falls out a window in order to save his own life. It was by far the most strangest thing here. And now basically it's on to X Factor Secret Invasion, which collected issues 33, 38, and an issue of She-Hulk, Volume 2. Now, basically, the reason why She-Hulk issue is here because it's called the He Loves You stuff. Because it involves She-Hulk and her friend Janiza, what it did with a guy called Nega the Talisman. Where he's a recurring villain for She-Hulk, for X Factor, who basically appears in this storyline that he returns in She-Hulk after this. In basically their tie-in, well, her tie-in to it. Yeah, the whole tie-in for X Factor with She-Hulk, with Secret Invasion, it's only here just for a couple issues, and then they move on to their own thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do love the storyline where they cross up with She-Hulk, because they just happened to involve She-Hulk because Peter David was not. He was ready to tell that point in time, so why not? Yeah, and pretty much basically, when Peter David, they also introduced the Freeman Building Incorporated, which basically was a legal firm associated with She-Hulk. Yes. Yeah, and then pretty much after the whole thing with the invasion stuff, wrapping up, and then like the very next issue with X Factor, Longshot joins the roster, and Darwin as part of the supporting cast for a bit. Mm-hmm. Yep. And they deal with the Karma Project. It's a really fun story arc here. They still deal with the whole one organization, the Office of National Emergency. Yeah, by the beginning of issue 33, Peter David made recurring characters in supporting characters book because of Alec Cooper. Yeah, and the whole thing with them is that they kind of left town. In case you're curious, though, where are they based? They're based in Detroit. Mm-hmm. Which they have the new base operations in here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically, with these issues is like they're set in Detroit. They get like a Victorian manor, which serves as a base of operations. Which Mandrix purchased it, and they deal with this Karma Project. Oh, and Darwin joins the roster with issue number 38, and that's kind of what goes on here. But still good stuff here. Yes, I love X Factor. I think it's an excellent book. I do recommend checking it out. I do get the book right. I do get this trade here roughly a 9.5 out of 10. Yep, so yeah, that's particularly a particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do the link button. I'm going to basically hold it for next Comic Corner. Probably going to have dinner at this point because I'm sure Jim's ready, so I'll do the next Comic Corner, which is going to be Man-Thing and Darkhawk. Yep, next view. Bye.